Hello everyone, welcome to Gary's Hardware, and this is our very first build of the channel, and this is going to be our build on a budget. Okay, for this build, for the case, we're going to be using the Silverstone PS07, and Silverstone have kindly sent us the Windows side panel, because in the UK we couldn't actually find the PS07 with the windowed side panel. For the actual cooling, we're going to be using the Cooler Master Sidon, it's the 120V version 2. For network connection, we're going to be using the ASUS Wireless N, and that's mainly because the person we're building this for has no way of getting their computer close enough to the modem to be able to hardwire it. For the motherboard, we're going to be using the MSI, it's the A78M E45V2. And for RAM, we're going to be using the Corsair Vengeance, and it's an 8GB kit running at 2133. And for the actual power supply, we're going to be using a Seasonic S12, and it's a Bronze Plus edition. For the processor, we're going to be using the AMD A10, and it's the 7800. Okay, right, for this build, we're going to start off, what I normally do is start off with the actual motherboard. And helping me build the actual build today, I've got my friend Paul with me. He's actually building this for his brother, and he actually came to me saying his brother's got 400 quid, what can we build? And he wants to do a bit of light gaming. I can't remember what games you said.
Yeah, my little brother likes to play Heroes of the Storm and Dota, so we just wanted a build which was not too expensive, but yet is going to allow him to play this. So yeah, here we go, you know.
So to start off, we're going to fit the actual processor in, and I've just realised I need a knife already to cut the actual seal. Okay, we're back and with a knife to cut the seal, and obviously for this build as well you're going to need at least 2 pizzas, if not more, and also beer if required. So we're just going to cut the seal on the box, and the baby AMD heatsink.
Yeah, it's way too small.
It's not the size, it's what you do with it. That's what she says. Right, with the AMD CPUs, very similarly to the Intels, in the corner of the actual processor there's a little triangle, and all you do is line it up with the triangle on the board, just being very careful not to bend them pins, and you literally just drop it in with the AMD, no force is required, and then just push the retention bracket down, and that's your processor installed. We're going to pop the box open on the RAM now. Got the seal open on the RAM, and we've also demolished the pizzas, which were very nice. We're slowly washing them down with beer and tea. The slots we want for these is the first slot and the third slot, so they run in dual channel. Just going to have to move this over a bit just so I can... And that's that one in. So that's the RAM and the CPU installed.
What do you want next?
So we need the water cooler, which we're going to install next. Okay, we're back. It took us a little while to figure out which screws we needed, but we got there. First thing we've got to do is remove the stock AMD bracket, which Paul's just removing now. Got to say, this Corsair unit's a well thought out bracket actually, because a lot of these back brackets, you know, we feed the screws through, and a lot of the time when you go to clamp down the front water cooler part, the screws normally come out, where the actual Cooler Master bracket, they come up with a solution of some little caps which clip onto the corners, which hold the actual screws into place. So when you come to bolting on the actual water cooler, it's nice and simple. Okie dokie, that's the stock AMD one taken off, and what we'll do, we'll take this back plate off. If you want to, screw the bracket back onto that one. If for some reason I want to use an air cooler, you can bung it all back on. Right, all we're going to do is lift the motherboard up, place the actual bracket through. Okay, what we're going to do is apply some small amount of thermal component to the CPU. It's more than enough. And then we're going to lower the actual, I'm going to take hold of the cooler. I'm going to lower that down to the CPU. What I normally do is just tighten them down by your thumbs to start off with. So start in one corner, then do the opposite corner. And once you've got them tightened all the way down, just snug them up with a flat-end screwdriver. Okay, on this particular case, to actually get the power supply in it, you actually have to remove the roof. So we take the sides off first. This is the actual side panel. Silverstone kindly sent us with the clear window. The actual side panel that come on this case was a solid one. So to remove the actual roof for this case, because the only way to get the power supply in is to remove the whole roof, we have to remove 2 screws here, third screw at the back, screw there, and then obviously 2 opposite screws on the other side. I'll cut the camera off and we'll quickly remove them, and then we'll go for the next step. Okay, we're back again. I've got all the screws taken off. I didn't want to bore you too much, so top quite simply just lifts and slides out. And then the actual power supply. With this power supply, it needs the fan facing the top side of the case. So you literally just drop that in, slide it back, and you got the power supply screws. So we'll quickly just whiz these in. And the good thing about this case, the actual motherboard tray is removable. The good thing with that, you can take the tray out, fit the motherboard all to it, and then we can slide the tray back in, and then all we've got to do then is plug the 120mm radiator back in. Okay, so that's our power supply in now. What we're going to do now is remove the motherboard tray. And to remove the tray from this particular case, you have to remove the screw up here. There's also a screw down there, and to get to that you have to go through a little hole at the front. And there's also one more screw at the back. So we're going to remove them now, and then we're going to come back. Okay, we've got the motherboard tray out, and we've fitted in the extra standoff for the M80X, and all we're going to do now is move the motherboard on. If you want to take the radiator, I'm going to move the motherboard over. Just line them up. Once we're there, we're just going to pop the screws in. So what I normally do when I fit the motherboard in, I put all the screws in first, don't tighten them straight down straight away. Okay, once we've got them all in, just start nipping them up. And the only thing to take care of when doing them up is obviously not to over tighten the actual screws, because you will and can crack the actual PCB. So just tighten them up until you feel them just go tight, and that's it. Job's good. And now what we're going to do now is quickly cut off, and we're going to slide the motherboard tray in, and then we're going to do up the radiator at the back of the actual case. Okay, we're back and we've got the motherboard tray slid in. What else did we do? We bolted in this power supply earlier. We bolted in the 120mm rad. So that's the HD audio in. And all we've done at the back, we've got a cable tie we've left loosely. And what we're going to do in the end is, once tucked all the wires through it, we're going to cable tie it right up. Okay, we've tucked all our main wires away as much as we can. We've got the HD audio going down for the back. USB 3. This cable here, this unsightly coloured one, is one of the fans. And we've got most of them cable tied down now. So what we're going to plan on doing now is wiring the front of the motherboard. So the power supply we've got though is a non-modular one, so we are left with tons of cables. So the first cable we're going to feed through is the 4-pin one. Should be somewhere on here. Is that the CPU? That's the CPU one. Just going to feed that down the back. With this case, there is a little cutout, so you can feed through your CPU power cable. It's a bit tricky, but it can be done. Okay, and once we've got the lead through, all we do is plug it into the 4-pin socket. So plugged in, and then we just tidy up the wires as we go. So that's that one plugged in. So the next one I normally deal with is the 24-pin. And with this case, I normally feed it through the hole which is at the top here. And then bring it down for the bottom. For a small case, it's actually quite a good case to work with though. I have had to build some builds in smaller cases than this, but this one, it's not too bad. Okay, all we've done off camera is literally just tidy up the wires, and we used some of these Velcro straps just to tie them down at the back. Because it's a non-modular power supply, we've literally bundled the wires together in the top. I have to keep stopping the camera just due to the fact I've only got one battery and it keeps running out. So this has taken a lot longer, this build, than we expected. So we've sort of carried on with bits off screen. All we're doing now, we're going to fit a PCI Express LAN card. And if we take that out the packet, so work out which slot we need to put that in. So there's a second one we've got to remove. Okay, so we're just going to pop the let's set the card in. So we're just going to screw that in. Okay, that's all screwed in. So we've got the Wi-Fi card in now. The only thing we need to do is pop the antennas on the back of it. They literally just screw in. That's 1 and 2. And there's one more thing we need to do is pop the SSD in. At the bottom of the case there's some holes where we can screw it in sideways underneath this shroud. So we're going to quickly do that and then come back. Okay, we've got the SSD under this hard drive cage. It's mounted a long way, so the cables come out the back. So they come out the back of there. So you've got the power cable and SATA. I think that's as tight as we're going to get it for the limited time we've got. And it's coming up to 20 past 10 at night now, and he's still got to get this to his brother who lives in London. So that's a good hour drive.
Good hour away, yeah.
So what we're going to do is going to pop the top on now. So it's the top. Get the side panels back on, and then we're going to load. Our plan is to load on Windows. Let's get this top on. At least we know for next time we're going to need a serious amount of Canon batteries, or if not, some sort of permanent power source. Because quite frankly at the moment one battery isn't enough. That's why I had to keep turning the camera on and off, on and off. So hopefully next time we'll be able to film the whole build from start to finish. So that's the roof in place. That's that. So pop the side panel on.
sexy looking little box actually. As far as boxes can be sexy anyway.
It is a nice compact case, the PS07. Okay, so we've got it all together now, and it is quite a nice looking build. So what we're going to do now is load on Windows. Hopefully it all goes smoothly, fingers crossed. So the build is finally finished, and it's only taken us half the evening and half the afternoon, and 4 pizzas and 2 beers. And about 6 cups of coffee, and yeah, we're finally here. All I know for next time, I need to invest in a permanent power source for my Canon camera. It would have been nice just to keep the camera rolling and not have to keep cutting off, but just due to the battery keep going flat, we had to do it this way. Hopefully next time though, we will have a permanent power source for the camera. As normal, if you've liked it, please leave a like. If you disliked it, obviously you know what to do. Give it a thumbs down and subscribe as well, because there will be more videos on computer products coming soon.